Hi, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I was going to show my face, but when I lifted my camera, it was upside down, and it would have been a whole big ordeal to try to do that. So, you get my head. Okay, now I didn't plan on making the last video as a part one and this one as a part two. Um, it got so long and I forgot exactly what happened. I had a reason. But anyway, so I'm back. So let me show you what came out of the oven. Now, I think I failed to tell you that with the Sculpey, I use Sculpey Primo clay for this project, and the oven setting is 275 degrees Fahrenheit, 130 degrees Celsius, and it says to bake it for 30 minutes per quarter of an inch or per 6 millimeter, and that means in thickness. So like if that's a quarter of an inch thick, you would bake it for 30 minutes. Well, we always, I say we as people in the polymer clay community, bake it longer than that. Usually we go for an hour. That's what I have found. And an hour gets the job done, and the clay it's strong. It doesn't bend or break. You can hear it. It's perfectly cured. So I baked these for an hour, and I went ahead and started to resin some of them because if I did it all on video, that would take a long time. So here are the two small pendants, and I have resined the sides and the back of this one. Oops, let me stay in camera range. And this one, I went ahead and I resined the front, the sides, and the back. Isn't that a pretty stamp on the back? And I drilled a hole, and I put a jump ring in so I can make a necklace out of it. I used a jump ring for my bail. And I have the other earrings over here. They're almost finished. The resin has almost finished curing. I'll show you how they came out. I did one set to match this pendant with the black background. Okay. Oops. And now these I didn't put a black or a background around them because I don't always do it that way. Sometimes I do it like this, but I did put some pretty designs on the back. See if I can catch the light. It's kind of hard to see. Sometimes the resin covers it up, but in person there is definitely a design on the back. So I got a matching pair like this. The colors aren't coming out very vivid. They're a lot brighter in person. And then here's another pair, bigger than the other ones. And I did, oops, my computer's going crazy over here. Oops. I did keep some of these ready to resin so I could show you how I do that. Now I use resin. I don't have a particular brand that I like better than another brand. I just get mine. Sorry, these bottles are old because I just keep refilling them. But this one came from Joann's, I believe, and this one came from Michael's. I found they pretty much all work about the same. It's been my finding. My dog is growling at me. What do you want? He wants a treat. Sorry, guys. Let me hand my little doggy a treat. Here you go, baby. Okay, I put a couple more down for him, so maybe he will leave me alone. I just took him on a walk, so he should be okay. Now, I get these little fingernail polish bottles at Walmart. They are UV resin made for fingernails. They are UV gel polish, and I fill these up because I love that they come with a brush, because I have so many brushes that I've had to throw away because it's almost impossible to clean resin off of a regular paintbrush or craft brush. So I just spilt water on myself. I'm just wiping it up. Okay. So there is resin in here. Now I'm going to just pour some. Let me lower my camera a little bit so maybe it'll be easier to see what I'm doing. Oops, sorry. Sorry, guys. That wasn't very nice, was it? Let me see. Did I loosen the wrong one? Okay. I think that might help for you guys to be able to see a little bit better. My hands look so big. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to pour some resin on here. And you just have to work with the resin, a few times before you know how much to use. I get heavy with the resin sometimes. Lately, I've tried to be a little bit more sparing with it. But after you pour it on, it will pretty much sit where you put it, unless your surface is unlevel, then of course it will run. After I pour it, I pull it out right to the edge, and it will stay where you put it if, like I said, if your surface is level. Mine is not perfectly level, so I have to be careful. It started to run off the front here, so anyway, you pull it out to the edge, and UV resin, well, I think all resin is self-leveling. So like you can see, I'm pulling it kind of from the middle out to the edges, and there will be some dips from where, like in the middle where I'm pulling it from, but as I finish up here and let it rest for a minute, it will level itself out. Now, air bubbles is something I don't talk about very often because I don't tend to get them for some reason. But if you see air bubbles, there's two ways you can get rid of those. I see it's starting to run off the front there. I do not want to get a big drip, that's for sure. So just real fast, I have a UV flashlight and I am going to make sure I don't have any drips. I am going to shoot it with a flash of UV light just to set it so it doesn't start running off the edges. I just recently started to use this little flashlight because if, like I said, it started to want to run off the tip right there. And if I had to pick it up and carry it over to the corner of my desk where my UV light is, it probably would have run off and I would have had a mess. So if I hit it with the flashlight just that long, it sets the resin to where it will stay put while I move it over here to my UV light. Okay. So the earrings, this I don't always pour it on something this small. A lot of times I will just apply it with my brush. This is a little bit slower, but you don't get big puddles this way that, I mean, this is, I just have more control putting it on this way rather than, you know, pouring a puddle on there. And I'm going to make sure I pull it out to all the edges. And you see I have a little hole drilled there. I will cover it. And sometimes it fills in and sometimes it doesn't. But I usually have to hit it with the drill after I cure it. Okay, and I am just going to look at this in the light, make sure I don't have any spaces that I've skipped or any dips. And it looks pretty good, so I'm going to hit it with my little flashlight to set it. And you can get these little flashlights at wherever you buy your other art supplies and resin supplies. This one came from Joann's, and I have another one that came from Michael's. So let me get this one taken care of. And then I'm going to assemble some earrings, and I'm going to put an adjustable leather cord. I have a leather cord that I'm going to put sliding knots on so the pendant will have an adjustable cord. And I'm looking at it in the light. It looks pretty good, except for where my fingernail just nicked it. So, okay. light. And most of the time, I do not use leather cords, but every once in a while I do. It's just a preference, matter of preference. Most of the time, I do something like this. I make my chain, and then I add beads and crystals to my pendant and make a necklace like that. But because of time, I am going to show you a different way to do it. Okay, so I have a cord, leather cord. It's black leather, and it is 40 inches long. Does not have to be that long, but I wanted to make sure I had plenty. And I am just going to, oops, put this through here like so. And then I'm going to make sure I have my ends. You know what? I'm going to raise the camera now just because it'll be easier to get the whole cord, or not the whole cord, but you'll be able to see better this part from more of a distance. Okay, to do this, there are several different ways you can do this, but this is the way I'm going to do it this time. So all you want to do is cross your cord like so, and take one. I'm going to be working with the short end. Hold it with one hand, and I'm going to make a loop and kind of hold it. And I'm going to go back towards my thumb and make another loop. So now I have 2 loops. And I'm going to take the end back by my thumb and put it through the loops and gently pull while I'm pulling the other side at the same time. Now you're going to have to kind of work the knot or the loops with both hands and pull it tight. You want to make sure it's not going to come loose. So I pull it very tight. There's one side. Now I'm going to turn this over and do the same thing on this side. I'm going to make it, I'm going to go under, wait, how did I do? Yes, I'm going to go under. I'm going to make a loop. See how I'm making a loop, and hold it with my fingers. Take the end, go back by my thumb, and make another loop, and hold both of the loops. I'm holding both loops. And I'm going to take the end and put it, go back by my thumb again, and put it through the loops and pull. You just have to kind of work both hands at the same time, trying to pull it tight and push the loops together, and just kind of work it the best you can. And you end up with this, and you have sliding knots. Let me show you. This one goes that way, and this one goes that way. Anyway, you can adjust your necklace length. You can make it short, kind of like choker length, just by, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Now I'm going to cut the ends of the leather off a little bit. That's a little bit more than I like to have hanging. Don't cut it too close, because sometimes these will come loose from just wear and tear, and you will have to have something to pull on to tighten it. So you don't want to cut it all the way down. And God forbid, do not put glue on your knots, because then they won't slide. You will not have an adjustable necklace. You will have a non-adjustable necklace. So there's the necklace, and my earrings over here still drying, but since I have been curing these other ones, that one feels kind of sticky. Let me see what's going on over here. Maybe these are better. Okay. The other ones need to cure a little bit more. I need to get a new UV light, I think. I think they start getting old after hours and hours of use. Okay, so these are ready for ear wires. Now, I usually make my own ear wires. Here's a pair of ear wires I made. Sterling silver. There's some funky earrings that I made last week. I think I made a video about these. This was with scrap clay as a backing, and then I just used a paint pen to cover the clay after I cured it. Oh, here's another pair of earrings I made that match the project that we're working on right now. Like I said, the colors look very dull on camera, but they are brighter in real life, believe me. Okay, well, I'm going to use store-bought ear wires. They are sterling silver, and I have jump rings that are sterling silver. I try to do most of my ear wires in sterling silver, so people won't, people that are allergic won't, break out. So I have tiny jump rings, because I'll show you why. First, I want to make sure my hole goes all the way through, because resin could have gotten down in there. I just have a little hand drill that I use, and polymer clay drills very easy, and so does resin. But I drill before I resin most of the time, unless I forget, because it's just easier to get your hole correct if you have, one before you resin. Because trying to break through the resin and the clay It's just easier to drill before you resin. Okay, so I think I've never used, these are so small, but I kind of like them. I don't know, but the first step is I have to put jump rings on here. So I have, now you have to be careful and you have to use the right size jump ring. You have to make sure it's going to go through that thickness. And this will, but it won't have any movement because it's so small. So I have these bigger jump rings that I'm going to use. To open a jump ring, it's better to use 2 pairs of pliers. The opening is right between these 2 pairs of pliers. To open a jump ring, I'm going to make a video about opening and closing jump rings, but right now I'll show you. You pull, I'm pulling up with my right hand and pushing down with my left. You do not open a jump ring going that way because you'll never get it closed back correctly. It will come out distorted and wonky. You always open a jump ring up and down. Okay. Let me put it through the hole. I have to open it a little bit more. Put it through my hole. Like so. And you close it the same way. I'm going to go the opposite though. I'm going to go up with my left hand and down with my right. And they will meet in the middle, ideally. Okay. These aren't quite together. There's a tiny little space, so I'm kind of breaking the rule, but I'm going to squeeze it together ever so gently. Okay, and then I'm going to turn and put the seam. I'm going to put the seam down in the clay. Let me do the other one. I'm looking for the seam. And I'm going to put it right in the middle between my pliers. And one hand goes up, the other goes down. Feed it through the hole. And close it back up. It's kind of hard for me to see from the angle I'm sitting at. So, oh, my stomach is growling. I am hungry. I should have eaten before. Okay. Breaking my own rule. And you want to make sure you get it closed as tight as you can because that's best. Okay, I'm going to put the seam down into the hole. Now, I'm going to tell you why I have to use these teeny tiny little jump rings. See how tiny that is? Because if I put my ear wire, if I put my ear wire through the jump ring, that's how it would hang. You would see the side of the earring instead of the front. So I have to put another jump ring in so I can thread my ear wire through it so it will hang correctly. So these tiny little jump rings, sometimes they're so hard to work with. A lot of times when they're this small, I just use my nail, because trying to get 2 pairs of pliers on this tiny jump ring is not easy. So I'll just twist it back with my fingernail and pliers. Let me just make sure it's closed up all the way. And I can't even find the seam. So that's a good sign. That means it's probably closed up really good if I can't find the seam, right? Yeah, I think so. And then that way I can put these small jump ring that I just closed. I don't think it will go through. It's too small to put the ball end of the ear wire through, so I had to go and I put it on backwards. So this is tricky sometimes. You just have to figure out which way to put the ear wire through, the front or the back. Okay, I got it on there right this time. And now I'm just going to squeeze and close this up. Make sure. And it's that easy. The ear wire is through. So there's one down and one to go. Get another tiny jump ring. Try to find the seam. Put it on, close it back up. I got it. Grab an ear wire. Thread it through. Thread it through the small jump ring. And close it up. Oops. And it's that easy, a pair of earrings. How easy peasy could that be? Does not take long. This is a very good beginner tutorial. So we have a pair of earrings. We have a pendant to match. And it's ready to wear or sell. And there you go. And I will finish the other pieces and add them to my inventory. Actually, I'm giving a pair of these to a friend, but everything I make is for sale. I'm in the process of opening my Etsy shop right now. I will definitely let you know when it's up and running. And in the meantime, y'all have a beautiful day, whatever, or night, whatever part of the world you are in. And I will see you real soon. Thanks for stopping by. Please spread the word about this channel, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye now.